I want to make this video and I'm going to read from what I have found about African American women's suffrage movement on Wikipedia. So I'm going to read a little bit of what I found. As a women's suffrage movement gained popularity, African American women were increasingly marginalized. African American women dealt with not only with the sexism of being withheld the right to vote, also racism with white suffragists. The struggle for the vote did not end with the ratification of the 19th Amendment. In some southern states, African American women were unable to freely exercise their rights to vote until the 1960s. However, these difficulties did not deter African American women in their effort to secure the vote. Marginalizing of African American women. In 1890, two rival organizations, one being National Women's Suffrage Association and American Women's Suffrage Association, they merged together. National American Woman Suffrage Association, which was abbreviated NAWSA. As NAWSA began gaining support for its cause, its members realized that the inclusion of African American women would gain greater support, resulting in the adoption of more narrow views of women's suffrage than had been previously asserted. The NAWSA focuses on enfranchisement solely for white women. So this is where a lot of people are using these issues to say that feminist movement doesn't work for black women. But contrary to what people are saying, African American women, here it says women began experiencing the anti-black suffrage, women's suffrage movement. Okay? The National Woman Suffrage Association considered Northeastern Federation of Colored Women's Club to be a liability to the association due to Southern white women's attitudes towards black women getting the vote. Southern whites feared African Americans gaining more political advantage and thus power. African American women voters would help to achieve this change. So that is the reason why African American women band together to create a black woman's suffrage movement. So it was called the women's suffrage movement that began with women such as Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, and it progressed with progressive women like Ida B. Wells, Mary Church Terrell, Ella Baker, Rosa Parks, and Angela Davis, and many others. All of these women played very important roles, such as contributing to the growing progress and efforts to end African American women's disenfranchisement. And these women were discriminated against, abused, they were raped by white Southerners and Northerners, and yet they remained strong and persistent. And that strength has been passed down from generation to generation. It also was carried on to African American families, and African American women have been political activists for their entire history of the American continent, but long denied the right to vote and hold office. They have resorted to non-traditional politics. So, in that being said, it is important for black women to have a voice, to speak out, to talk about issues that are bothering them, that are plaguing them, that are a part of their lives, that are part of their families' lives, that are a part of their history, that are a part of who they are as black women in American society. So I don't see anything wrong with a woman wanting to work and wanting to take care of herself and take care of her family. I don't have anything against a woman wanting to become educated and to better herself. I don't have anything against someone who wants to see her family thrive and wants to help support her husband or her family or her kids or whomever she's trying to better herself in union with. I have no problem with that. What I do, however, have a problem with is when you get these women that support and rally around black males who don't support them and they don't want to see them progress. Here you have a picture of African American women who were working during World War II. And you see these women, they don't look sad. They don't look like they're unhappy. They don't look like women that are not going anywhere. They look like they're more optimistic and hopeful about the future. We have enough going against us. So we can't lose by moving forward and trying to be progressive, even if it means that we have to help support our families. So I don't have anything against that. But what I do have against is women who continue to support people who do not support them, and who talk about them, and who post nasty videos and horrible videos on social media, belittling them, degrading them, calling them names, saying that, oh, they're man haters, when, you know, we raise you, we conceive, raise you, send you to school, send you to the doctor, we take care of you, we support you. Here's women back in, I believe this is a video, or like a snippet actually, of women who are working in a webbing factory making bed springs, and they were machine operators. And this also is showing women, and you can tell the picture is very much an older picture of black women who also were productive, and they were working class. And I was trying to find that clip to see if I can relocate it again, so I can see specifically where these women, where they originated from, because I thought I found that this photo pretty intriguing, because I don't really think people really realize what women put themselves through during these periods, because there was so much going against them during that time. So let me see here. I may not be able to find it again. Oh well. But anyway, here's another photo of a black woman who is, actively working and employed, and she is, productive, and I'm sure she's taking care of her family as well. So, you know, we're hearing a lot of negativity on videos, and we're hearing videos about you can't work, you can't be educated, how to wear your hair, that you can't wear your hair natural, that they don't want to see you wearing that. And then in the same people, we're also hearing them say that they don't like seeing us in weaves. I've heard that. Now, me personally, I've never worn like, I see some women who wear weaves like every day. The only thing closest to a weave, I guess, I've worn braids and extensions, if you want to call that, if you want to say that's what it is. But I've never worn like hair weaves all through the week. Now, I'm not gonna knock people who do that. To each his own. I've heard from other black women that they like changing their hair up, changing their styles up, and that's the reason why they wear different wigs. Then I've heard that they say black women are angry. I'm just going to be honest. I think we have a right to be disappointed. I think we have a right to be angry, and we're not angry enough. If you ask me, I think we really should be angry and upset, because there's been a lot of things that have been portrayed on social media about us that are complete lies. And a lot of these people that are on here, they're bitter. They're the ones that are full of hate, and they've had bad relationships, and then they blame it on all black women, as all black women have done something wrong to them. And usually I find it to be men that are in their like 30s, late 30s, 40s, 50s. Maybe they have been in gangs, they have felonies, they've been through a lot of women, and or they owe child support. They don't tell you the things that they've done wrong. They've left women with babies that they hadn't been responsible for, they didn't want to take care of, and so they abandon their families, and they get caught up in baby mama drama, and then they blame all black women for like maybe one or two incidences that they you know internalize, things that they've dealt with maybe a couple of women. And then these men are no longer really men that women who are really progressive, and they're working, they're educated, and they're trying to do better for themselves. When they do come in contact with those type of women that are wanting to better themselves, and they think more of themselves other than just being in the kitchen and cleaning and cooking all day and having babies and listening to a bunch of stories that aren't true from men who like to go out and sleep around with different women, and they are not honest, they're not faithful, they're into this infidelity thing, or they go hang out at clubs and they pick up different various women, and they're very extremely promiscuous with different women, maybe prostitutes. They're down low, they're not secure with their sexuality, they can't admit that they're bisexual or they're gay. I'm not trying to bash gay people or anything like that. I'm talking about men who can't admit who they are as a person, and they're not secure with themselves, so they vent and they take out their anger on other gay people. So you have a bunch of black men who are going around promoting hate of lesbians, hate of gay black people, because they're insecure with their own personal issues, and they're not being honest and coming out and saying that they and too in fact are gay. And so they go underground and do things, and then they'd rather see you in the kitchen and having babies. They don't want to see you as being progressive. They want to feed this stereotype to you that women's roles are in the kitchen and having babies and barefoot and all this stuff from way back when. And so if you listen to what I was reading, black women didn't have the right to vote until 1960s. So black men had the right to vote, but black women didn't have the right to vote. So it's important that black women know their history as a women's suffrage. You have some black women who they are rallying around black men, but they're not looking at how this is being, this is being backfiring, a backfiring issue on them as a group, as them as in black females. And me included. So I'm just saying, as you're rallying around protecting, which we've always been taught to be loyal to black males and to support them in everything that they do, and I think that is commendable, and we should do that. But we should not support these men who get online and who say these horrible things about us, and who feel like we shouldn't be progressive, we shouldn't go to work, we shouldn't get educated, we shouldn't be helpmeet and take care of our families. If he dies, if you're married to a man and he dies, how are you going to raise your family? What are we supposed to do? Go out and look for another man? And that makes us seem desperate. And I don't see people getting in a relationship that quick unless they're just extremely codependent and they don't trust themselves. And if you are so unproductive, you haven't all those years, you just haven't done anything to progress yourself, to better your situation in the event that something happens to your spouse, which sometimes, if you read about it, they say sometimes women will outlive men, even in relationships. Sometimes if you have a family, you have to support them. So if I don't see everybody being extremely wealthy. Everybody doesn't have it like that. So everybody's circumstance is different, of course, but there are some people that even when that person is not around, who's going to pay the bills? So unless you are, somebody that inherited a lot of money, you still need to be productive. And I feel that it's important for women for sanity and peace of mind and well-being and self-sufficiency, and to feel more elevated about themselves as a person, is to get educated, to learn how to take care of yourself. And it's the same thing. Males, I think get educated, learn how to take care of yourselves, because if you don't have a wife, you need to be able to wash those dishes. I seen a video where some guy posted a bunch of dirty dishes. I'm like, wait a minute, do you think that black women are supposed to be like Wheezy from the Jeffersons, that we're supposed to just take abuse, that we're supposed to be the maid in the Jeffersons, and just supposed to just like wash the dishes and do what you say, and we're supposed to listen to your craziness, so I just think that is unfair. And yeah, we're disappointed, we're going to be upset, there's anger in our community, and there's divide, but there's a social divide within our infrastructure as black people. And so I think it is imperative that people understand where this whole thing is coming from. A lot of this is just trying to control women in general, and it's like a male ego, and a lot of it is hate, because the male ego is feeling threatened that black women have progressed and surpassed black males. And I'm speaking on the ones who post these hate videos and say that they're against feminists and that we're man haters and that black women are trying to boycott the birth of a nation because Nate Parker is, in a relationship with a white woman. And I'll speak on that. The reason where that's coming from is black men hated to see black women with white men, but yet they don't want you to be mad or disappointed when they choose a white woman and post videos saying 10 reasons. We know where this is coming from. 10 reasons why they'd rather date a white woman rather than a black woman. Yet we have historical documented proof and fact, you can fact check, that black men were lynched, beaten, tortured, raped, killed, burned, stabbed, whatever you can think of horrid, if they even looked at a white woman in history. Emmett Till. There's a whole host of others. If you even turn your head, if you even whistled, if you even look like you were looking, they scream, he did it. So, and then we're not supposed to be upset when you use those platforms of social media to say, oh, I'd rather be with a white woman than versus a black woman. So I think there should be some disappointment with that. I personally don't have a problem with interracial relationships. If people want to be together based on solely because they love one another and they found each other and they happen to be from different nationalities, backgrounds, they were born in different places, nothing wrong with that. But when it's a black woman with a white man, oh my gosh, she just cannot do that. We cannot see that. We can't have that. And don't let her be a black lesbian. If she is black and she's lesbian, okay. I've even heard stuff where they've bashed Robin Roberts because she's with a white woman. I'm like, I've seen a lot of black men who are with white or women that aren't of color. And anytime some black woman says something about this and it's questionable, she gets crushed for speaking out on why do you guys do this? Why do you do this? And then turn around and post these videos about how you'd rather be with all these other women and have all these babies with these women and be with them, and then you don't want to be with a black woman. And then when she's a black woman and she wants to be with just women, doesn't want to be involved with men, you have a problem with it. But yet it's okay to beat up black women. It's okay to verbally beat them up. It's okay to emotionally beat them up. It's okay to stereotype them and talk about their hair and talk about their weave and talk about who they are as people in general, talk about bad things about single parenting and how the man should be in the home and all that. But when she gets tired of you and fed up and she speaks out, something's wrong with that. When she wants to go to a job, something's wrong with that. When she wants to get educated, something's wrong with that. But if she decides, that's it, I'm through with dealing with men and the drama, something's wrong with that. Okay, she's no longer in your lives. She's no longer doing anything with you. She's with another woman. Something's wrong with that. You're never satisfied. You say it's us that aren't satisfied, but it sounds like it's coming from your end. But if she's like this woman right here, Superhead Confessions of a Video Vixen, if she's a slut, if she's a streetwalker, if she's a hooker, if she's a prostitute, you know, I've seen videos where they say they don't like this, but guess where they're going to go on the weekend? They're going to be in the bar. They're going to be looking at strippers. They're going to be what you call this saying, they call it throwing money up in the air and making it rain. They're going to be with all these different women. It doesn't matter what, just as long as they have something between their legs, abusing women. You know, basically looking at them as less than, you know, human, just something to be a receptacle or whatever, and treat them like trash. And then they have all these qualities that they want in a good woman, but yet they want somebody that's from the street. You know, they want you to perform like you're some kind of porn star. And it's crazy because it's, if you clearly look at this, black women who think this is okay, come on now. This is not okay. And then I've heard some black women who hurt other black women who are progressive, and they say mean things about, you know, gay people. They say mean things about other women who want to be independent, who are striving to do better with their lives and trying to be productive. They say mean things, and then they rally around these men who are full of hate. Does that make you feel like they're going to treat you any better by rallying around some of these things that they do and say, which are stereotypical, which they're really talking about you? You know, they're talking about you as women, and you don't think they are, but they are. They're treating you bad too. They're tearing you down, and you don't even realize how dangerous this is. And basically what they want you to do is just, they want to bring it back, just like how you have white hate groups, supremacy, where they want to bring it back to the good old days. They call it like the 60s, where there was Jim Crow. It's the same thing, where you have a group of males who have huge egos, and it's usually the ones that, you know, they're not doing anything with their lives. They've messed their lives up. They got a bunch of felonies. They've gotten in trouble with the law. They had some bad relationships with black females. They blame child support on the black female because they weren't responsible. They abandoned their relationships with those females, or they abandoned their responsibility. So they blame everything on the black female when they've had some issues that have been pretty hot button topics. They blame everything on the black female. They blame, you know, everything. Everything, all their failures, all their disappointments, the black woman did it. Anytime they see any black women happy, trying to progress in life and trying to be something positive, it's something wrong with it. So you should want to question who you are in cahoots with. These black women who are supporting these black men who are degrading other black women, they're degrading you too. They're talking about you too. You don't think they are, but they are. They are talking about you. Think about who you keep company with and how it's going to affect everyone as a whole.